Hey guys, what's up? It's the next Mike Ike, and I'm back with another Awaken Chaos Era video. We are continuing with the free-to-play series. Last episode I left off with us getting really lucky on our initial rolls, but saying, hey, we were going to re-roll anyway, because I didn't want to start with a legendary and an epic, and that I would be back once I re-rolled a few times and decided on what I was going to pick. So with that, I actually kind of decided to go on hard mode. What I mean by that is I re-rolled a couple times and actually ended up picking re-rolling and not getting either an epic or a legendary, and just sticking with an elite that I re-rolled. Now, that elite that I did re-roll is a pretty good elite. Actually, he's one of the best elites. And that's why I kind of felt confident, even though I didn't get an epic, hey, we'll roll with him. And that is Connor. Now, the game will give you Connor. But as in many of these games, getting extras of units you like help you level them up. And so keeping him and then getting a second unit will be not that big of a deal. We'll feed it to him and level him up. Now, what makes Connor good? Well, what makes Connor good is that he gets a trait that gives him a passive that gives him plus 10 attack. Okay, not that big of a deal. His main attack deals 70 damage with a 30% chance to apply defense down for one turn. It's regular defense down, so it's minus 30 defense. Okay, but it's these last two skills that really make him. Especially this one grants all team members a attack up, okay, and a shield with the strength that is increased based on this character's attack. So if you build him for attack, that shield will be stronger, and its attack up. So it's two nice buffs on his second skill. It's only on a 3-turn cooldown, even without any level ups. And then lastly, heals all team members. Healing scales with this character's attack, and then that can come down to a 5. So he's got a nice heal that's based off of attack. He's got a nice shield that he puts up that's based off attack plus attack up. And so you just want to build him with a lot of attack, and you probably want to try to make him tanky too. But basically attack and tankiness. He is fire unit, and that also plays into that decision because the first gear dungeon is a wood dungeon, and so having a fire unit that can heal and stuff and buff your team in that dungeon is not a bad thing. So we decided to keep Connor. We didn't really get anything great other than that. I mean, Abbott is another healer. That's not that bad. We got some other guys that are okay, but really we kept Connor. Now, the other reason why it's important to have a hero that buffs is because Nathyla needs buffs. And what do I mean by that is, if you look at Nathyla, what she does is for every positive effect this character has, their ability affects one extra enemy. So basically for each positive effect, she hits one additional enemy. So all of her attacks become AoEs. And however many enemies they hit is based off of how many buffs. So right away, you're getting 2 buffs off of Connor, so now you're hitting 3 people. Also, she has this little ability that triggers once per 5 rounds, but the cooldown will go down to 3 once you level it up. Applies attack up, so it gives her attack up, and immune, which means she won't be affected by negative effects for 2 turns if this character is buffed by a positive effect at the start of their turn. So basically, if she has a buff at the start of her turn, and this hasn't triggered yet, it'll trigger, giving her attack up and immune. Now, Connor does give her attack up, so you are duplicating there, but essentially, you go with Connor, boost, give yourself the shield and the attack up, and then this triggers and gives her immune, which makes all of her skills then, while she has those buffs up, hit 4 people. And with that, she's got Arcane Nova, which deals 140 damage to an enemy. If the enemy is killed, the ability's cooldown is reset. So basically, she just rains down attacks on enemies, and if she kills anything, this auto resets. So And as you can see, she is S ranked attack, so definitely want that. We also leveled up Zach. So what I did was I played all the way up until 2-8, so we can go ahead at the end of this episode and do our little. I'm gonna have to watch this real quick. We can level all the way up and do our rookie summons. So we're gonna do that at the end of this. But I kind of just wanted to show you what I re-rolled for, and then I'll go over some of the characters that I think you should be re-rolling for. I don't think you should just re-roll and be okay with Connor. I'm doing it, kind of giving myself a challenge, and showing that, hey, you can play free-to-play even if you don't have the best start. Maybe you've already, you're already past this and you don't want to reset your account, and you're like, oh, I didn't have the best start, do I reset? Well, I'm going to show you that isn't something you necessarily need to do. So what I did, and I'll kind of go over what I did and some of the stuff I unlocked, is, so I beat all of this, got the chapter reward, so it's an extra 100, so that let me summon an extra scroll. And then I did, all of them have these like optional things that you can do, these quests, and they're all pretty much worth it. Then they don't take very long. So I did this one, and this one just gave you an extra summons and 50 crystals, so let me summon another one again. So I did that, and then I did the adventure, as we saw, all the way up to chapter 2. Now, if you'll notice, this one says hard. I actually, even on my main, haven't beaten it. I only tried it once, but this one, you can't use your creatures. You're just using like a preset team, which, kind of stinks. So your creature strength doesn't matter for that one. Real quick tips to blaze through this stuff, this content, guys, is once you get your Natalie, max her, dump everything into her, throw, even though the gear sucks, just throw 3 sets of the warrior stat on it, so she'll get plus 45 attack percent. And just, she'll blaze through stuff. And then put the rest of your stuff into Zachary, and then Connor. And then I didn't dump any jelly into Kane, because once we're done with this legendary summons, Kane most likely won't be on my team. Some of the things we unlocked real quick, guys, is we unlocked dungeons. Okay? And the dungeons we unlocked are No Man's Land. So this is basically where you go and get your, most games, this is where you get, your awakening material to level up, to awaken your creatures. This game, I actually really, really like this part of this game. It's not awakening material. You do get materials, right? But what these materials are actually used for
The Book of Lilies preserves me.
is skill upgrades, ability upgrades, right? You use these, so instead of awakening your character with those, you upgrade. This is how you upgrade your skills, which is really cool because you don't have to wait for dupes or skill. I don't know what to call them, skill monsters, like a lot of these other games have to upgrade your skills. Basically, you can grind these dungeons and just upgrade your skills to max, which is really, really nice. Now, with that being said, there is the Ascend. Now, the Ascend is where you use dupes, and basically these are going to be things that help your creature get stronger, and you can only use dupes, or I think there's this one material that you can use. So dupes are still important, and the one of these, and I don't know if any of the legendaries or anything have more, but one of them will usually upgrade the trait. Okay? So as you can see, if we can get her ascended to level 2, her trait goes from, for every positive effect this character has, their ability affects 1 extra enemy. That's where it used to say. And then now it says, and damage is increased by 10. So really, getting her up to 2nd ascended is, really, really good. So that is where your dupes are going to be. So your ascension or awakening, if that's what you want to call it, a lot of other games call it that, is through dupes. And basically when you ascend once, the star will go pink, and you can only ascend as far as you have unlocked. So you'd have to get to 6 stars before you can ascend all the way to 6. So all in all, you'll need 6 dupes to get her fully ascended, and she'll also have to be 6 star before you can do that. But you can get the skills all the way upgraded just by farming those dungeons, which is nice. So we unlocked that. The other thing we unlocked is the index. Now you're going to want to check the index whenever you summon. And basically, it's just, hey, you can come read the bio of the character if you want, but you're getting free gems by looking at these. Okay. And then there is bonding, which a lot of these games have, where basically if you complete a set, you also will get some. Now, guys, unlike a lot of games, well, not a lot of games, I guess it's more like a lot of games, the rare and below creatures aren't worth using, right? They're just fodder. And the reason I say that is because, A, all of their skills are maxed. They don't get any skill upgrades, so what you see is what you get. And then they also don't have any passives. So, I mean, maybe there's 1 or 2 that might be niche, real niche, and might be useful in like a very particular dungeon or something. But as of right now, don't waste any time on your rares or commons. Just focus on your elites, epics, and legendaries, especially epics and legendaries. Even your elites, just they're not all worth it. You can see the higher the level, the more gems you're gonna get. Meaning, he was elite, you're getting 10 from the index. You saw that we got 20 from the epic, and I forget how many we get from the legendary.
This is gonna be so much fun.
Edge of chaos, obey my command. No one can match my moves. A warrior never surrenders.
Okay, so we got through all that, guys. So real quick before I go through, obviously I missed something.
I will never forget my mission.
Before we go and do our little summons, and before I show you what I would recommend summoning for, I want to show you a couple more things. So one of them is the Rookie Challenge. So this is one of those things where every day you'll unlock the ability to do more stuff. Some of this stuff is really hard to do, guys, so don't sweat it. You can still get to the 60 points without completing everything, but basically as you can complete these, not only will you unlock these and get these, you'll also get these bonuses as you unlock, with the main one, 60 points being this epic character, Mila. Also, as you saw in the login, you will get an epic character after 7 days. So there's a couple epics as we do our rerolls for we're obviously going to want to skip out on. Alright. So I want to go to the index here and go through some of the characters that I think maybe you should reroll for. And obviously, guys, if you get a legendary, you're probably just going to want to be happy with the legendary. So, real quick, let's see. So, the first epic that I think is worth re-rolling for is William. Sorry, I'm checking my notes here, guys. So, what makes William really good is, so he's got a passive that says the basic ability is all team members deal 40 more damage. So when it says basic abilities, that just means your first attack. He's got deals 50 damage to an enemy and launches a joint attack with a random ally, which is nice because when they joint attack, I believe they use their basic attack, so that basic attack will be 40% more damage on that as well. Then it has grants 1 stack of counterattack to all team members and applies defense up 2 to the main target for 3 turns. So counterattack, basically it's stacked, so as soon as you get hit, you will auto counterattack, but then it'll go down 1. So if you only have 1, it'll go down. But basically, again, you're counterattacking, so you're going to counterattack with your main basic skill, which will be 40% more damage because it is passive. And then his third deals 100 damage to all enemies with an 80% chance to apply defense down for 2 turns. Okay. William is definitely one of the epics that is worth re-rolling for. Alright.
In the name of the Emperor.
I don't think Thomas is really worth rolling for. I don't think Jacob is either. Okay. So, out of these guys,
A war is about to begin.
I think maybe the one you would want to re-roll for is Orca here. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. So, out of like the orc type factions, probably he's where you'd want to go for if you're going to re-roll. When attacking, there's a 30% chance to combo and deal 30% to all enemies. Crit rate increased to 100%. So when attacking, there's a 30% chance to combo and deal 30%. So basically, when he attacks, he's got a 30% chance to also trigger like a bonus attack that does attacks all enemies, and the crit rate is increased to 100%. Deals 100% damage to an enemy with a 30% chance to apply defense down. Chance to trigger increased to 100% upon a critical hit. So basically, if he crits, he auto puts defense down. Deals 150% damage to an enemy and recovers health equal to 50% of the damage dealt. And removes all positive effects from a target, and then deals 200 damage. Percent damage. Damage from this attack scales with this target with the target's max HP. So probably really good at nuking down bosses. I think this is worded weird. But yeah, so Orca is one that you'd probably want to reroll for. I don't think the rest of these are really worth rerolling for. This is the new character, so I'll be honest, I haven't really looked at him. This character just came out, so maybe he's worth re-rolling, but I haven't got a chance to play with him that much. As you can see, I just disconnected from the server. There we go, back in. Just real quick look at him. Resistance down. Yeah, probably not going to want to re-roll from him. He looks like he's slightly complicated, so early on, probably not going to want to re-roll. Alright, for these guys, Marion Shadowblood is really, really good. Definitely worth re-rolling for. Grant this character a 30% chance of launching a joint attack alongside the attack of an ally. Deals 50 damage to an enemy, plus true damage equal to 3% of the target's max health. So true damage ignores defense. So there you go. Just on her basic attack, she does 3% true damage of the target's max health. Removes all negative effects. Deals 100% damage to an enemy after healing by 30% of the max health. Then deals 100% damage to all enemies, plus true damage equal to 8% of the target's max health. Applies Unholy Redemption to this character for 2 turns, which gives her plus 50 damage reduction, so she takes that less damage, and she gains lifesteal. So this chick's pretty good. and she can actually be surprisingly tanky.
A wolf's prey can never escape.
Don't really think you want to reroll for the rest any of these. I do actually think Hughes could be pretty good, but I think he's not somebody you want to reroll for because he's based completely off of speed, so you're gonna want really good speed runes on him. I'm excited to try him out though. And then Kyle is an interesting character, and I don't think he's worth rerolling for, but he's a fun PvP character in that his third ability essentially shapeshifts him into a target enemy for 2 turns, and he immediately gets a bonus turn, so he gets to go again. The shapeshift does not work against boss or elite units. So basically, he's mainly a PvP character. Basically, if your opponent's using like a speed buffer or something like that, you throw him in. He's 146 speed. He's S tier speed, so he's probably going to be faster, especially if you build him right. So you just change into that and you hit the speed buff first on your team. But I don't know if I'd reroll for Kyle. He's more PvP. Both of these epics are worth rerolling for. So Santis has attack against enemies affected by poison have a 50% chance to apply additional poison. Deal 80% damage to one enemy and applies poison for 2 turns. Deals 150 damage to an enemy and duplicates all poison effects affecting them onto another random enemy. And then deals 120% damage to all enemies and applies poison for 2 turns. Prolong the duration of all poison effects on an enemy by 1 turn. There's a pretty easy poison team. Poison is very easy to build. There's a lot of creatures that or heroes that do stuff off of poison, and she just is bonkers with poison. So definitely worth rerolling for, especially if you want to use that poison strat. Next up is Andre here. If this character has rage, then grants plus 30% critical damage. If not, then attacks have a 50% chance to reduce their ultimate ability cooldown by 1 turn. Deals 80% damage to an enemy. If the character has rage, then this attack expends 1 rage to deal double damage. Counters an enemy's attempt to inflict a negative effect with a total dispel granting plus 2 rage. Can only be triggered once per 2 rounds. So basically, if something hits him with a negative effect, he dispels it immediately, and he gets plus 2 rage. Deals 250 damage to an enemy and grants plus 2 rage, plus 1 rage per critical strike. So if he critical strikes, he gets rage. And then basically you're using that rage to do double damage on his basic attack. And if he has rage, then he grants 30% crit damage. And then if he doesn't have rage, basically he can reduce his cooldown. But basically he just stacks all this rage. And the only thing that uses it, and only uses 1, is his first attack, which will hit a lot harder. So he can hit pretty hard. So we already covered Kayn. Kayn you get for free. Man, I don't know what is going on, why I keep disconnecting. So she's the one that you get for 99 cents if you're going to spend the money on her. Don't reroll for her. She's decent. She's a little weird to use because basically she has this one buff, but she loses it, this unicorn buff, but she loses it whenever she gets hit. But when she has it, she does like double damage. Don't reroll for Arendelle. You get him for free after 7 days. Helmar's probably you don't want to reroll for. He is good in a bleed team if you build a bleed team. So if you're specifically going for a bleed team, maybe reroll for him. But Celestial Kayn, this is the light version Kayn that I was talking about. I don't know if I would reroll for him, but he is pretty good. When this character's attacks removes 1 negative effect from each of 2 team members, can only be triggered once per turn. Deals 2 to 6 strikes of 30% damage to an enemy. Each strike heals this character for 4% of health, so RNG there with 2 to 6. Deals 100% damage to one enemy and applies taunt. So nice little taunt there. And then deals 100% damage to all enemies and grants invincibility to all team members for 1 turn, which basically means your character can't take damage. So he's pretty good. I don't know if I'd reroll
The
for him.
mountains hold many
Now,
secrets.
Winstrix is an amazing character, and I got lucky enough to, not knowing what I pull her on my main account. And why she is amazing is because she's a speed and attack buffer, and really, that's all you need to say. She's awesome in PvP, and I know some people will say that she's PvP only. She is not. She is also good in PvE. She's probably better in PvP, but she definitely is useful in PvE. So if you look at her skills, when using an ability, there's a 50% chance to reduce its basic cooldown by 1 turn. This ability may only be triggered once. When she gets leveled up, that goes up to 100%. So basically, but then it can only be triggered twice per battle. It can only be triggered twice per battle anyway, but it'll happen 100% of the time. When using an ability, there's 100% to reduce. So basically, your first 2 skills that you're going to use with her are going to reduce her cooldown on them anyway. So our first one, okay, deals 100% damage to 1 enemy and applies speed down. Speed down is not a joke, but here's what really makes her. Her second skill, refresh the cooldown of an ally's ultimate ability. So basically, you just pick a friendly character or herself and say, hey, your ult's up again. Awesome. And then here's the big one. Grants speed up to, so plus 50% speed, and attack up to the whole team. So, buff speed, buff attack, go. She's really, really good in PvP, but also really good or at least early game PvE. I don't know if late game maybe she's not useful, but early game she's definitely useful in PvE as well.
I am the spear of the forest.
Here's the one we chose not to keep with the epic. Actually, not 100%. Okay, so she's got taunt, stun. Yeah, probably don't reroll for her. Titans. You don't want to reroll for this guy because you can actually synthesize him, which means build him. You get her for free, so don't reroll for her. Rickard is really good, definitely worth rerolling for. He has a very specific team too that he likes to be in, which is a defensive-based team. All of the dwarves actually work really well because they're all together because they're all like defensive-based. But he's worth rerolling for. Grants 10% damage reduction upon taking damage. Grants 20% damage reduction upon taking damage. So he reduces damage. Deals 80% damage to an enemy with a 50% chance to apply attack down for 1 turn. Removes all negative effects. Each removal restores 10% of the max health. Deals 100% damage to an enemy. Deals total true damage equal to 80% of this character's max health to all enemies. So 100% true damage, doesn't care about defense, and does it to all enemies, and it's 80% of this character's max health. So basically you just build him with a lot of health on him, and this third skill is going to hit like a truck.
I cannot be told.
Lordic's good. I don't know if I'd reroll for him. And Hassel is also good, but I don't know if I'd reroll for him. Okay, free cities. Obviously, Nathalia, we're not going to reroll for because we get her for free, but she's really good. Trying to look at some of these. I don't know if I'd reroll for any of the free cities. And then Dragon Marsh. You can unlock both of these guys for free, but they do take a while to do so. This guy is worth re-rolling for. Upon defeating an enemy, resets all of this character's ability cooldowns. Upon defeating an enemy, reset all of this character's ability cooldowns. Grants attack up for 1 turn. Deals 100% damage to an enemy and grants speed up to this character for 1 turn. Grants plus 30 crit rate and plus 30 precision. That's his passive. Deals 200 damage to an enemy, plus bonus damage. The fewer the enemies remaining, the higher the bonus damage dealt. If this ability kills the target, then launches a bonus attack against the enemy with the lowest health. So he can just chain in PvP. But if you get him, definitely keep him. He's worth rerolling. Even though you do unlock him for free later on, again, you're going to want... It's way down the road when you're going to unlock him, and you do want skill ups anyway. Or not skill ups, I guess. Stuff for Ascension in this game. So guys, that's basically where I would go reroll. If you get any of the epic, legendaries, you probably want to keep them. The one thing I did want to show you before we finally do this summon for us, rookie summon, is the summoning here. And remember I told you in the first episode I liked how they did light and dark. Well, I don't know if you noticed in our first pull we got a light and dark, or a light creature. And how this works is you can see that when you summon, so this is the regular summons that you're using, the advanced summons. This is the summoning chance. Okay, so you've got a 1% chance to get a legendary hero, you've got a 10% chance to get an epic hero, and you've got an 89% chance to get your normal elite heroes. Now, of those, they can be light and dark. Now, it's only a 0.1% chance of getting a light and dark, or light or dark legendary, and only a 1% chance, so you have the same amount of chances of getting a light and dark epic as you do of getting a regular legendary hero. But guys, it's in the normal summons. There's no special light and dark summons. So anytime you summon, you have a chance at a light and dark. And also, as you can see here, guys, you have a chance of your bonus. You get bonus chances. It's kind of a pity. It's not quite a full-on pity, but there is a little bit of a pity system here too. In advanced summoning, if you have not obtained a legendary hero after 70 consecutive summons, then the drop rate for legendary heroes increases by 0.5%, so it goes to 1.5 for every subsequent summons. If you have not obtained a legendary hero after 90 consecutive summons, then the rate increases by 1% for every subsequent summons. Once you've obtained a legendary hero, the drop rate returns to initial value. You are guaranteed to get a legendary hero every 100 advanced summons. So there you go. It does have a pity system. And with that, guys, we are going to do our rookie summons. So the way this works is you're basically going to pull 5 guys, and one of those can be a legendary. She's really good. We might keep that. That might be the one we go with. So you're going to pull these 5 pulls. You're basically doing 5 pulls. And you'll get legendary or epics, but you're guaranteed to. Some of them have legendaries. So you see this one has double epic. It's got William and Helmar. William's very tempting too. If that second epic was better, we'd probably go with Wilmar, or with William instead of Helm. If it was a better, like if it was another really useful epic, we'd probably go with William. Okay, and then this last one I think has a legendary too. Ooh, he's pretty good too. I think that's the one we actually pulled. Funny enough. Alright, so here it is. It's going to have us choose which team.
No prey, no pay.
So, Evira, she's got +1 rage per valid hit on an enemy, max rage 4, converts all rage into a bonus attack with artillery support upon reaching max rage. Deals 60% damage to an enemy with a 15% chance to apply bleeding for 2 turns. If the effect If affected by attack up, then launches a bonus attack with gunfire. Okay. Foil deals 80% damage to an enemy and removes a positive effect from the target. If affected by attack up, then launches a bonus attack with gunfire. Okay. Keep saying with gunfire. I guess that just means you shoots, because none of these abilities are named gunfire. Deals 120% to 160 damage to all enemies and grants attack up to this character for 3 turns. Okay. So basically she gets bonus attacks if she has attack up, and then when she gets to 4, she converts all that into a bonus attack as well. So she does a lot of bonus attacks. That's basically what's going on here. I've played against her in PvP. She hits like a freaking truck.
I made a promise to my people.
Abilities of all team members recover 5% of max health if the target has a positive effect. Okay. Deals 40% damage to an enemy and grants a shield for 2 turns to the ally with the lowest health. Shield strength scales with this character's max health. Heals an ally and removes all negative effects from them. Healing scales with this character's max health. Heals all team members and revives all slain allies. Healing scales with this character's max health. Cooldown is extended by 2 turns for every ally revived. Oof. Okay, so she's just all about the heals. Wouldn't be surprised if she's the best healer in the game. She probably could go with her too, especially since there's 2 decent epics with her. I know it's weird to be looking at the epics, but those are actually 2 playable epics. Alright, and so, yeah, here's the guy we skipped out on and reset on last time. So he's got any attack by an ally affected by attack up against an enemy reduces this character's ability cooldowns by 1. Deals 80% damage to an enemy with a 30% chance to apply defense down for 2 turns. Deals 80% damage to all enemies. If this character has attack up, then launches a bonus attack with this ability. Man, seems very similar. Deals 120% damage to an enemy and applies defense down for 2 turns. Grants attack up to all team members. Okay. Ooh, that is a big, nasty cooldown. Really? 9? That cooldown seems ridiculously high. Alright guys, I think we're going to go with this. One of the things we were hoping to pull was a wood damage dealer, because we kind of already have a fire damage dealer in Zachary, and we have a water damage dealer in Nathalia, so we are going to go with Vera here. Especially since we have the Connor to buff, to give her attack up from the get-go, so she'll be triggering bonus attacks left and right. So, once you decided what you're going with, you confirm. And here you go. Plus, who doesn't like a sexy pirate chick? So, again, now we've unlocked some more gems. Now, guys, especially since we're doing free-to-play, I suggest saving your gems. Because weekly, there's going to be things that you're going to want to spend gems on. So there you go, you get 50 for legendary.
Protect our home.
The flowers of the forest sing a beautiful...
This land used to be so beautiful.
Alright. unlock some quests. So guys, make sure you're checking out the rookie event. Another thing that doesn't really tell you is that if you click on her, she also has these basically development things that you can follow that get you points. So this is a more guide. And then also over here is Foodie's Guide, is a guide to get more stuff too. So we are gonna take, first off, let's lock these.
Edge of chaos, obey my...
No prey, no pay.
Get her upgraded to 20 real quick. Hopefully I got some attack stuff I can throw on her. Okay.
Demonic power can be destroyed, or it can be tamed.
I'm gonna get some attack gear. Don't have attack there, unfortunately. Connor. We'll get some more attack gear and get these guys up. So, this is going to be our starting team, guys. What we're going to start grinding with. So we've got Avira, Nathalia, Zachary, and Connor. So Connor works really well with Nathalia and Avira, giving Avira the attack up early, so she'll get bonus attacks. And she's probably almost always going to have attack up going. And, guys, real quick, why I like Zachary. So if we look at Zachary's abilities, he's got this nice passive, and it doesn't read very well, but deals 50% damage to all enemies and a bonus attack when this character or team member defeats an enemy. This ability may only be triggered once per turn for ally kills, but any number of times for this character's kills. And that will go up to 80% damage. So basically what happens is, if you kill an enemy with any of your characters, he does this bonus AoE attack that deals 50% damage, and if you get him ascended, deals 80% damage to all the rest of the enemies. And he will do that once per turn for an ally. So it doesn't matter if you have like 3 allies do it; it's only once per turn. However, it triggers any amount of times for his kills, which also trigger off of this Chaos Slaughter. So sometimes what will happen is you will go with Nathalia, she'll do her little AoE attack, kill one guy, he'll trigger Chaos Slaughter. Chaos Slaughter will kill another guy, Chaos Slaughter will trigger again off of that, and so on and so forth. Sometimes he will trigger Chaos Slaughter, Chaos Slaughter, Chaos Slaughter. It gets pretty crazy sometimes. And it's a lot of basically free extra AoE damage that you get off of him. Other than that, his skills aren't great. He gives himself attack up, which is nice on the base one. Deals 105% damage plus 50 bonus damage if the target has less than 50% of max health. So this one will hit a little bit harder once the opponent is below 50%. And then he deals 105 damage to all enemies. The fewer the enemies, the more damage this attack does. So, all of the damage, they're okay numbers. But the big thing is his passive. His passive is really where he really shines. And early on, he's definitely worth focusing on. So with that, guys, we're 45 minutes on this episode. Kind of a long episode. We will end it here with this being our free-to-play team. Now, again, guys, when you do your legendary rolls, you're not going to get these same characters. So, basically look at... You don't have to go with legendary. If you were to pull two of those epic heroes that we looked at, that we said re-roll for, and two of them you really liked them, you pulled two of them, you know, you can definitely go with those, especially if you get some of the weaker
No
legendaries.
prey and no
But I mean, look at this. Look at this girl. Who wouldn't want her on her team? On your team? She's just awesome pirate chick. So pretty happy with this. This is the team we're gonna rock with early on. I'll come back next episode. We'll probably be a little bit further along, and I'll go through some of the stuff that we've unlocked, because we will unlock more stuff like arena, and then there's a whole bunch of like other like bounty hunts and trials and labyrinth and all that kind of stuff that are always in all these games. We'll unlock that, and we'll go through that. But with that, guys, please give me a like, give me a thumbs up, comment on some of, you know, some other content that you'd like to see. If you'd like me to, you know, do a gear guide or do a complete breakdown of hero guides, those type of things, just let me know. And please, you know, follow this free-to-play series. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been the Next Mike Ike. I hope you guys have a fantastic day.